Buckets. That's the name of my boat. Buckets.
Buckets. What we get.
Not the only transfer we got from Florida. Keith Stone, too. Remember that.
Everybody who watches his show on a regular basis knows my love of the stretch four.
You know, we all make mistakes. He might have made one going to
Mercy
Tallahassee.
if y'all don't know. Dribble to the left, cross over to the right. Hurricane to the game, many buckets for the night. Matt with the pick and roll, Melissa with the give and go. This alley-oop, pretty girl dunking in the hole. Check the scoreboard, this what we ball for. Peep the gameplay, they want an encore. Yeah, overtime for another round. It's buckets after buckets, baby. You out of time. It's buckets. What it is, homie, it's buckets. Woo! We getting buckets. Yeah, baby, buckets.
I have no shame.
I know. That's the problem.
You guys are awesome.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Buckets. You got me, Matty Ice, and Vish. That's felt so weird, me calling myself Matty Ice. I don't think I'm going to ever do that again.
Well, you got to go with your full name of Matty Icy, right?
Matty Icy? Keep it formal.
That's a throwback for old-time listeners of the show here.
Yeah. Oh, man. Jeez, that's funny.
We're in for some. We're going to need to ice down after the pain you're about to put us through with this game breakdown, man. You really want to relive this, huh? You really want to relive this.
I mean, I guess so. I rewatched it. I regret last episode saying, hey, let's get into this. But in all honesty, I think that it's good that we get into this. I think it's good to take a deep dive at these things. You know, I'm not an expert, but, you know, there's some things that I recognized and whatnot. But I think it's good to talk about this because, you know, obviously we did that show, immediate reaction, right? We had some time to think about the game and whatnot. I think that some things spiraled and made the score look a little worse than it actually was. And I think that we're going to talk about some things that we can definitely improve on. But, you know, so take with that what you will.
I think that's probably, in a way, it's positive because the basketball itself for majority of the game wasn't as bad as the final score. On the other hand, like how you do what we did that last 5 minutes is, from an attitude standpoint, is problematic. Like, how do you even do that?
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna throw the ball away in every possession. We're not gonna run. We're basically, it was almost like it was a practice and we were trying to help them practice their fast break by just teeing them up so they could run it in transition. It was that bad. And
it also too, like, I mean, so Norchad fouls out, right? With like 5.5 minutes or 6 minutes around there.
I thought it was more than that, but it was
maybe
late.
Okay. You know what it was? So it might have been like at 7 or 8, but then Nigel, that's when remember Nigel like took the tumble. Someone fell on his head. At like 5.5. So just these things kind of spiraled, and then you have, you know, a lot of the bench guys in, and then, you know, they left their starters in against, you know, some of our deeper end bench guys, and score was what it was, right?
That it was. Shout out to Bill in the chat as always. I was always representing there. It got away. And again, you know, you rewatched it. I looked at some of the clips you pulled up. We're gonna, for everyone's awareness, we are going to show clips and kind of break down some of what happened there. And yeah, the score is not out of control until the very, you know, till the end of the game. It was right.
Yeah.
In, you know, you're kind of like, you know, maybe almost halfway through the second half, and it's like 49-46. And you're like, all right. And it's hard to remember just because that's how quickly it just kind of got away. Norchad fouling out definitely had something to do with that, but also his discretion is still lacking a lot here in terms of when he takes his fouls. And so, like, I mean, one of them, and we're gonna break this down in a second. Although I don't think it's one of the clips you pulled, but one of them where he he's chasing down a fast break and he just hacks the guy. Like, don't give that. Just let him lay it in.
Yeah.
That's not a foul that you want to give up, right?
It was in the second half, right, when Chris Watson.
Yeah, I think
Watson was
first
back too.
Yeah, Chris Watson kind of flew by, and then Norchad from behind fouled him. And I'm like, that's not, that's not the time and place for. There's never a time and place for him to get.
He wasn't going to have an impact on the play, right? Like that was just like
Yeah, and it's one of those where you got to protect your. He's prone to picking up fouls in bunches, so he's never not potentially in foul trouble. He can't be doing those. Just let him lay it in, because he wasn't. I don't even know that he was in foul trouble at that point, but because he made 4 fouls in 12 minutes in the second half or something ridiculous. I mean, it was, but again, just giving up cheap fouls. He's got to stay on the court. And
I thought a lot of it too was like, I feel like, I mean, we're gonna get into this, but at the start of the second half was when we were doubling, and I think we were doing a good job of being like physical with the double teams and being aggressive. And so when you have that mindset, obviously Norchad's already an aggressive player, so that can kind of change your psyche. And so I think that's kind of maybe one of the contributing factors as well. But
he's just got to be like, he picks up 2-ish dumb fouls a game, and those ones you can't have, because like you say, naturally aggressive. You don't want to take that away. He's going to commit some loose ball fouls going for rebounds. That's fine. Obviously, like when you play in the post, you're going to make some defensive fouls. If you can just cut out the dumb ones, he's not going to be fouling out of these games.
Yeah. Well, and he's going to get called for one that isn't a foul too, right? Because he has this reputation and how he plays. So he has to, kind of have that in his mind as well. So
yeah, and some of those, I mean, even the one he fouled out on wasn't a foul, and it was a late call, but you're reaching late, you're slapping, like you're asking for it.
Yeah.
Like, why are you reaching in on that? You have 4 fouls. Stand there like this. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's situational, which is really ironic, because at the operative time last year against Texas, he played so intelligently with 4 fouls. The only time he came close to making the 5th one was a horrible call that they then realized to overturn, when that dude basically boxed him out from the elbow and undercut him. And took him out, and everyone thought they were going to call a foul on him, and so which he just went straight up, and the dude wiped him out. Like, was the only even question. Like, then, oh no, he might have picked up. He played so smart in that game, but unfortunately, I haven't seen that consistently. And this, I mean, the fact that he went into halftime with 1 foul and fouled out like the second half is just, come on, man.
I remember at halftime, I was like, well, at least we don't have to worry about him. And then I was like,
oh, wait. We took him out, too. I think we took him out for like a breather in the middle there, too. Like, he didn't play that. He didn't play that entire. He definitely, when he started picking up fouls, I think Coach Al pulled him a little bit to protect him. But then we had to go back with them because they started making that run at him.
Did we pull him? I don't even remember. Like in the first half when they had an offensive possession, didn't we even pull him towards the end of halftime?
Yeah, no, we did. Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
we did, and actually, it was Lampkin who picked up his second, and then we pulled Norchad too. So like,
that's what it was.
They got 2, we got 1. There we go. 12
Yeah.
minutes in the second half, he's out of the game. Just ridiculous. All right, so ready to get in this?
Should we preface this with so I pulled up the game time, so Vish is going to pull these up. It might take a little bit of time, but we're going to do this as efficiently as we can.
Yeah, there'll be a little navigating to the right spots. So let's go ahead and get this rolling.
Obviously, I thought that the main talking point. So this is all going to be defensive stuff, right? Because I think that the offensive stuff was a little bit more self-explanatory. We missed open layups in the first half, right? We had a bunch of stupid turnovers.
Actually, before we even break this down, I would like to get your thoughts on this.
Okay.
So from what I saw at the game, because you did rewatch the game, it looked like they were very aggressive in passing lanes and kind of trying to run us off the 3-point line. And that's how we were getting to the paint, and just weren't finishing at the rim. But I do feel like over time we were less willing to attack and then start hesitating. Like I thought in the first half we were we kept going even though we kept missing. we kept attacking, and then the second half, it felt like we just didn't have the will to do it anymore, and a lot of hesitating, standing around, dribbling around, and not really getting into offensive. So at least that's what I remember from. And if you finish those shots in the first half, which I mean, these are makeable. These were layups or chippies in the paint that you should be making.
Yeah.
Missed a majority of them. It felt like.
Yeah, no, I thought in the first half, even though the layups weren't falling, we were still getting that penetration, right? And it was creating for others. So even if you were driving in, maybe you were kicking it out for a shot, or creating a driving lane for someone else, right? If you drove in yourself. I thought towards the second half, there was like, I can't remember the span exactly, like what time it was, but we kind of started settling for like mid-range jumpers that were like off of one pass, that like, you kind of wanted to make the defense rotate a little bit, especially with how they were playing, because they were playing so aggressively, like you said, in the passing lanes and whatnot. I think that's one of the contributing factors of how they started to kind of pull away a little bit. And then obviously, the foul trouble with Norchad and what happened with Nigel. But yeah, we definitely did move away from it. I don't know if it was a tiring thing or if it was a mental thing of we thought we couldn't do it anymore, or maybe both. So I agree with you on that.
Yeah, and I think as I pull this back up again, we're going to, teams are. Matt's not the one who broke this film down, so like people are going to come out with similar approaches, and we have to show we can execute against it better than we did.
Yeah. So this first clip, I mean, the first couple are going to be offensive rebounding. Obviously, we're going to give up offensive rebounds, right? We're a smaller team and whatnot. But at the same time, to have guys go unmarked, just diving to the basket, and affecting the game and tipping out or getting offensive rebounds, creating second chance opportunities for them. You do not want to have that. I thought, past 2 years, we've done a good job of, having like that gang rebounding in terms of like, kind of creating an area where we can, gather the ball and whatnot. So let's get into this first one. So,
all right, here we go.
Points per game.
Javon Hadley has the ball up top. You just see right here, if you want to slow it back, rewind a little bit.
Okay, so
Colorado team with losses to Florida
Makes the
State
pass up top.
yeah, so here's the positioning here.
Yeah, Cleveland kind of loses him a little bit there. And then Wooga, if you see a man coming in unmarked, you got to take whoever's closest, right? Leads to an offensive rebound.
Colorado State
and a chance for second chance points. Silva gets a tip.
Yeah, and that's one where Wooga did effort to get to the board, but he didn't box his guy out, and it's positioning. Well, it's positioning, right? If his guy gets the rebound, even though Wooga crashed the boards because it was a long rebound off the miss, and that's why you got to locate your guy and put your ass on him.
Yeah. Well, and at the same time too, like, you're guarding your guy, but like if you see someone unmarked, you got to put a body on them, right? Are you rewinding it? Oh, next one.
Oh no, I'm putting the next clip while we.
Yeah, sorry, but
that's enough.
But yeah, and I think that was a common theme on the offensive rebounds that we gave up. Like we were there, but we weren't putting a body on someone, right?
And that's actually more like, in fact, you'll see sometimes like. I mean, it's rare, but you'll see the box out where the ball hits the ground because, they're clearing the guy out of the way, and that's how you don't rebound by going and getting the ball. You rebound by keeping your guy off the glass, and then someone on your team will grab the ball, and because it's all positioning, and yeah, that was just not a good. No. That's the unfortunate thing is the effort was there to get the rebound. It was just not intelligently. Exerted.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's get into this next one. Norchad's going to be guarding the high post, I believe, if this is the right one.
Yeah, it's fronting the post. We're about 5 seconds off, but rather than skip,
okay.
Hit the play button.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to pause it right. Oh, wait.
Here, it's coming now. No, we're
Right.
right.
Right here. So I understand that there was a little loss of possession there, but the game plan usually when you have someone fronting the post is you got to have someone in help side. You can see everyone up top is not even looking and aware of the situation of what's going on. Leads to the easy seal by Lampkin and just easy finish.
Yeah, and the other
Right
thing
there.
yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
go ahead. I was going to
No,
say
go.
right there to me, without knowing their rotations and whatnot, this is Matthew Cleveland, right? Because right now he's guarding. I want to say it's Hadley, right? Is number 1
Yeah.
Hadley or is that Simpson?
I think it's Hadley. Simpson's 2, right?
Yeah, and you have 2 guards up top that are relatively playing close together. I mean, this is a situation where you got to be lower, protect the basket. You don't want to give up an easy layup, right? So
The other thing I would say on this clip, here comes the easy layup. I'm going to back this up a little bit. Is okay. So here, like you said, it's a little bit of a loose ball, a little bit of a scramble. Part of fronting it is there's no ball pressure. It's an easy pass. Bensley's already undersized.
Yeah.
He's got to be up on. You got to pressure the pass too. Like this is just way too easy. Like you said, there's no Matthew Cleveland or whoever is responsible. It's probably Matthew Cleveland's. No one's helping on backside, which you need to do. So basically, you have the entire court. There's no one anywhere near this. You have the entire court to throw the pass into, and there's no ball pressure.
And here's the other thing too, because like we reference playing 2 guards all the time, right? Like Nigel Pack and Bensley Joseph, 2 undersized guards. Even if because right there, Nigel, he's guarding. I want to say that's either Hammond or KJ Simpson. I can't tell.
That's KJ Simpson.
It is KJ. Okay.
Yeah.
Even because he's in the corner, so even if he came over and helped, I mean Nigel Pack is 5'10". I mean that's not going to really do, a whole bunch unless he's there and takes a charge. But there's not really enough space there. But yeah.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, again, there's no ball pressure. This is such an easy, and Bensley's undersized man. This is so easy. Like his attempt to harass the pass is just to jump way after the ball's gone over his head, and this is just easy. This is stealing.
Yeah.
So I guess let me ask you this question as I pull up the next
Yeah.
clip. Are we even given? We've talked about potentially changing lineups or whatever. Are we even equipped to front the post? We have an undersized center. We have undersized guards that are good at what that like I don't know that fronting the post really. It's always gonna be if they have a legitimate big. We should definitely do a better job rotating behind. Definitely do a better job pressuring the ball, but it doesn't feel like it's a very
The only thing I know
to our personnel.
Yeah, the only thing I would say too is, I mean, obviously they kind of lost the ball, so this was kind of a weird possession on that. We don't have to rewind it, but I don't know if you noticed too, like Norchad was fronting him, but he was pretty far out. There was a lot of space between him. Usually you want to be a little lower, because then it's a harder pass to make, right? There's not enough space to catch it. But no, yeah, I mean, I think we are equipped to do it. It's just we're not seeing, you're starting two guards that are, shorter. You're not seeing the athleticism making up for, the lack of height, like the speed and athleticism making up for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and to your point, like everyone switched off a little bit there too.
Yeah. So it was kind of a weird possession. I get that as like an argument, but it's too easy. Like it was
way too easy. It was way.
This
too
is why
easy.
they shot 70% from 2. Like
yeah, no, that was not pressuring the passer. No one even in a position to provide help side defense, and like you said, fronting way too far out.
Yeah,
it just made it an easy throw. It's wide open. Yeah. There's all the space to throw the pass into, and
yeah. And like I get Matthew Cleveland was 1 pass away, but know your personnel of who you're guarding. Javon Hadley hasn't even shot a 3 the entire year. So, and this is going to be a common theme moving forward. But Yeah. Should we move
but
on?
who
to-
do you,
oh,
who
go ahead.
do you think that's on though? And I guess we're gonna see a little like one of the things that I noticed and I talked about on Monday's show is we were so aggressive trapping and trying, but actually going through the motions of trapping might be a better way to say it because we weren't actually really like disruptive. But at what point do you just say, you know what, shoot the ball? I'm running under this screen. We're not switching. We're not creating mismatches all over the court. Shoot the ball off the dribble. Like I don't understand why we never switched out of that. And part of this is like, yeah, Matthew Cleveland should not be chasing a non-shooter out the 3-point line anyway. But it really felt like our strategy was just to, play aggressive. Again, I'll put air quotes aggressive because we weren't really executing aggressively. Maybe
Yeah,
if we did
it looks-
maybe if we did it would have looked a lot better. But it did feel like that was our plan was to overplay and be aggressive and trap and do all those things. And
Yeah, well, and I thought there was moments where we did that at a high level, but I think there was a lot of us just kind of. It looked like we were just going through the motions, like you said, exactly. That's
so
like
how
probably
much
the
of do you
best way
think
to
this?
describe it.
How much of this do you think is that like, or how much do you think that is that of that was a strategy? Like I just mentioned fronting, but had we executed the defense correctly, like is it a bad concept or is it bad execution or maybe a mix of both?
I would say I would lean and say it was mainly execution.
Okay.
Because a lot of the things that we're seeing, and we'll get into some of them,
Yeah.
are like, how are you just leaving the ball right now? Like, it doesn't matter what defense you're in, but you're just going to leave the ball and just create an open drive for someone. To me, it was more execution, or you're not going to close out at all. Like that's a big thing. Like, I don't care if the dude is wide open, make an attempt. You never know. You know what I mean? What can alter a shot? But so sorry, I completely lost where we're
Okay,
at
so
right
this
now.
one is
okay.
going to be a lack of box out, I believe. But
Yeah. So if you see here,
I'll go ahead and roll it.
a lot of ball watching right here.
So once again, we have all of these guys in position, and only one has or I guess two of them have a body on people, and no one's got a body on I think that's Silva, but no one has a
that's
body
O'Brien.
on this dude.
O'Brien. Yeah.
If no one's got a body on him.
Yeah. If you can go back, like you can just hit the 10 seconds and then just pause it like right as he's running in.
Half at a 6-point Colorado
You'll
lead.
see right here, Matthew Cleveland. Oh, wait.
Have not trailed in this
No,
game.
it's coming up. Here it
Right
is.
here. Ball watching. Doesn't even know his guy's about to run in right now. Just going for the rebound without putting a body on someone. I mean, this is the same thing
And
as
actually,
the first one, right?
if you look at where the person who's going to grab the rebound is right now, there's no excuse.
Yeah.
That's just bad.
Joe. Active.
I mean, come on. And look at where no one got a body on him.
Especially on a
actually,
jump shot. On a jump shot where it's like, yeah, you get the steal, but that's not or whatnot. But you got active hands, great.
This game.
Yeah, and this is kind of the frustrating thing. Like, there's 4 Hurricanes at or in or just right on the edge of the paint, and they have a guy running in from the 3-point line who gets the ball instead.
Yeah, and it's only one guy that runs in. Look, number 12 could have ran in. And does he actually end up running in?
No, it's just this one guy just wanted to touch the ball because no one boxed out.
Exactly. It's a common theme for at least this game. And then the next one, I mean, we referenced the miscommunications. There were aplenty in this game. And I think it's been a common theme in almost every single game. So if you watch Chris Watson and AJ Casey on the elbow right here.
So
Casey's
coming up top side, Watson's down here.
Yeah, I think it's a few seconds in.
We did not come into this game thinking that either of these teams would have 3-minute droughts.
Pause it right here.
Okay.
So you'll see Javon Hadley's kind of setting a flare screen right here. So there's going to be a miscommunication on who's going to come out through the screen. So I don't know. This is a situation of, did Chris Watson say switch? Did he not? But press play here.
From both sides.
See? Hadley just gets...
Yeah, so they both... this is I mean, this is comically bad, but for those this is going to go on the audio medium as well. But basically, Watson and Casey simultaneously are running into each other while not covering the cutter, and it's. I mean, this is Three Stooges stuff here.
If you want to play it a little bit, pause it right when you see AJ Casey or when you see Chris Watson's face. Look at the face he makes. It's pretty funny.
Is it? Did he do a zoom in or something?
Right here. You see?
Lampkin, a very good pass.
Wait, I'm not seeing it.
Oh, it was back. It was back already. It's okay.
Okay. Oh, I know. We've got the
It was just a
technology.
one of these.
Lampkin, a very good pass.
I mean, it was clearly someone blew the coverage. Obviously, this is not correct.
Bottom right. Watch this. Looking at AJ Casey. What are we doing, bro?
Yeah. No. And this is, it's just some of this is. I mean, they got to work this stuff out in practice because this isn't.
Yeah.
This is not going to work. All right, let me get to the next clip.
Yeah. Next.
So
clip. Another offensive rebound. Another offensive rebound. I referenced it earlier. We talked about whether it was execution or what do you call it? Execution or scheme, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there was times where we, effort maybe wasn't 100% there. I think this is one of those times. Let's hit play here.
Oh, good on ball defense there, and it's off.
Oh, is it going to commercial? It's about 4 or 5. Like, we're 2 seconds away from your timestamp. And
no,
stuff.
AJ Casey played some good
here we
defense on that possession, but here we go.
Coming up at 4:30 Eastern over on ESPN, the 23rd annual WNBA Draft Lottery. The Indiana Fever, the best chance of
See here, ball screen.
Mercury, Sparks, and Storm in there as well.
Look right here.
To select from the top of the college basketball class at
Sorry,
4:30 Eastern.
Yeah.
3:30 Central on ESPN.
Yeah, back it up real quick.
In there as well.
Pause. Oh wait, sorry. You'll have to go back a tiny bit.
All right, well, I think we'll just
coming up at 4:30 Eastern over on ESPN, the 23rd annual WNBA
for those
Draft
listening, I sent
Lottery.
they shoot a long three and
They're right here, right now. So Nigel Pack has the right idea here. I think it's Nigel right here where he boxes out. Unfortunately, you force a team to take some long contested shots. There's going to be long rebounds. And I get that, this is going to happen, but what happens after is kind of the point of emphasis. Go ahead.
In there as well.
So misses a shot. He hasn't boxed out, but it kind of goes, it's a long miss, right? But I forget who was up top. Was it Wooga or no? It was someone else.
I think it might have been.
Yeah, started running down the court before we had the ball. First of all,
yeah, that's
what. And then press play.
Who gets to select from the
gather the offensive rebound? He's coming back to play defense, right?
The college basketball class at 4:30 Eastern.
Oh boy!
You see, just a total
breakdown.
Total breakdown. Miscommunication of who's got who. You see, I think that's Casey is on De Silva, but then Wooga's kind of on him. Doesn't even look at the shooter.
That does look like Wooga lost his man here.
Yeah, wide open three.
Yeah,
like not even like warm up three.
Yeah, there's no one. What gets basically in the paint covering a big and not sure.
Wooga said, "I don't think you can make that," and he made it.
I don't think he even knew he was standing out there based on some of that coverage.
Forget about the 6
All right, next one. It's another post play. Oh, here we go. Baby back ribs.
Is it before or after the commercial question? 208. Oh, so it's before.
Oh, you know what? It might not be. I might have wrote down the wrong.
Well, let's see
wait.
what
Sorry, 253. It's 253. This is my bad.
Oh, whoops! I'm in the wrong clip. Do you want to just do the next one since we're here? No, because you didn't say the wrong time. I skipped one on accident.
Oh no, it's all good. Okay, yeah, we can just do this
since we're here, and then
so you can take a look. AJ Casey, where is he? Right down in the middle of the paint.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
in the
right
middle.
there.
He's playing center right now.
All right, press play. Take a look at AJ Casey.
6 rebounds, 4 assists
Right,
to go with 4
so
points.
guarding
for
O'Brien.
Shot goes up. Oh, wow.
Doesn't put a body. There's a tip.
As it poked away by Poplar.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty chronic with the, he's there, but you got to
Not
box
putting a
out.
body.
Like box.
Not putting a body.
There's a reason they say box out. It's not just grabbing a rebound; it's boxing out, and it feels like
Yeah.
they're just almost.
This isn't us getting overpowered or they're
Right.
just grabbing rebounds over us. This is us not putting bodies on guys.
Yeah, really bizarre because so this is really interesting because I perceived it looks like incorrectly based on what we're seeing as lack of effort. We are actually efforting to get in position and then not actually putting our butts on people.
Yeah.
It's kind of bizarre. Like I think at the game I visualized it incorrectly that we weren't hustling and weren't like getting in the paint to grab the. But there's like 4 Hurricanes standing around while someone comes in the car and grabs the ball, and it's not.
That's why I'm saying like these things with the giving up the offensive rebounds in this manner, like we're always gonna have teams that probably try to shoot more threes against us because we're quicker. You know what I mean?
Right.
Perimeter base and whatnot. Those long rebounds are gonna haunt us. It doesn't matter if we box out 100% perfectly. Those long rebounds, there's gonna be times where they get them and. It is what it is, right? Especially when they're missing a bunch of threes, right? That's what's going to happen. Right. But whenever you have, just guys not, locked in, just not putting a body on, not putting that forearm in, and then just getting your butt down and boxing out. It's it's frustrating to see.
Yeah, and it's we're never gonna be like 0 offensive rebounds, but like this is egregious, and it didn't have to be. I think is kind of the frustrating part.
Exactly.
All right.
So
next clip, which is actually backwards because I couldn't go in order.
All good. So Wooga's going to be fronting De Silva right here, or trying to. This is another one of I know it happens really quick. It's the camera angle and whatnot. If you want to pause it right when he's like over the top of him.
Yeah, let me.
His first 2 years driving to the rim
right here. So I mean, I think De Silva does a good job of getting the seal. You know how I referenced of like if you're fronting someone, you want to be closer to the basket, right? Because it's less space for them to operate. That's why De Silva kind of comes up and then seals him. I mean, AJ Casey's guarding a shooter right there. But this is, again, know your personnel. Look at Matthew Cleveland. Not really aware what's going on, right? Guarding Javon Hadley again.
It looks like AJ, Casey, Nigel Pack, and Wugger are the only ones even paying attention.
Yeah. Well,
Matthew
Cleveland's focused on the screen right there.
And so is Keyshawn, and they're not actually focused on the play at all. The other thing is, just looking at this, I still think there's a disconnect here. Like part of fronting is pressuring the ball, and Nigel's given him about 5 feet of space here. Now he's way out on the court. He's out way past the NBA 3-point line, but there's a disconnect between what Wugga's doing, which is fronting, and Nigel not applying ball pressure. Yeah. And I don't know that Wugga should have been fronting in the way this is set up right here.
Yeah.
But
I mean, at first glance, you might say, hey, AJ Casey, I mean, he's guarding a stretch big. I mean, O'Brien, I think he hit like 3 threes in the second half. He's one pass away.
Stretch 4.
Stretch 4. There you go. To me, this is on Matthew Cleveland and, like you said, Nigel Pack too. You can't just let an entry pass like that happen. I mean, this is, again, they shot 70%.
I mean, there's 5-6 feet of space between Nigel and the guy throwing the entry pass.
Yeah.
And then it was a good play by Silva that we can actually actively see here sealing Wugga off. That was, and he creates the passing angle and all that, but we did not do anything to disrupt that.
Yeah.
And this will let it roll. There's easy layup again. AJ Casey was late to get over there, but he was never going to get over there.
I mean,
it's like you said, Matthew Cleveland looks like should have been his his help.
Well, and I think this is where we really miss Jordan Miller. He knew where to be on the floor. He's not the athlete that, Matthew Cleveland is. I think Matthew Cleveland's a better offensive player, maybe you could say too. But, he knew how to rotate and he knew where to be. I think this is a learning process. I think Matthew Cleveland could definitely, maybe not at that level, but could definitely improve in some ways. But
that Miami is doing off of pick and roll actions now. This was not
All right,
the
where's
case at the
the-
beginning of the game, but back-to-back turnovers for
looking
Colorado.
for it. I got to 107 and I wasn't sure if that was the
Easy bucket. Turnovers.
if that was the is it
Chili's.
Turn deep.
before or after the Chili's? Let's find out.
109. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. This.
You've seen the adjustment by Jim.
So stuff, little.
Okay, so it must be after the commercial. Right?
Yeah.
Make an adjustment. Look at the trap. Miami to make this a game. Inside Lampkin from the game because
All right, here we go.
was 12.
Okay, here we go. Pause. Okay. High ball screen coming. Lampkin's going to set one right here. Or maybe he's setting one on De Silva first, and then he sets one on ball.
Two
Let's see.
advantage.
Yeah.
Okay, so he kind of did a brush screen
Little
on
bump.
Boga,
Yeah.
and
little
now
bump screen.
he's gonna hit. Now he's screening Nigel, and we're trapping.
Yeah, so you'll see here a few things. One, I think it took Nigel a little bit of time to get through that screen. I get it. Lampkin's a big boy. Norchad could have probably set this a little better. I know he was a little late because of that initial screen, right? But you got to use the sideline better, right? He shouldn't be able to make this pass in the corner. And if you're Wooga, you cannot let him make that pass in the corner because you'll see what happens. If you want to just pause it after 2 seconds. So he makes that pass. And then look, Lampkin has Bensley on him, which,
that's over.
that's what, that's like a 7-8 inch difference. And if you see here, so Bensley's on him right now, but it looks like he's trying to hand him off to Cleveland. I'm not entirely sure because you'll see after he's kind of expecting there to be help right there. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. And Cleveland, meanwhile, it looks like rotated out to the top of the key 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
And obviously it's just an easy layup at that point.
Yeah.
So this was kind of the type of play I was talking about on Monday.
Yeah.
Where, they're just making two, and then they're it's not just a straight, screen and roll to the basket. It's throwing it to the corner and taking advantage of the fact that means that Bensley's going to rotate from the weak side, and that's just never going to work.
Yeah.
So I guess how should we have played this better then? How should we have played this better?
Well, one, I think
where should we have disrupted it?
Yeah, Norchad should have been a little bit more disruptive with how he was with the ball. So you'll see here, where's it?
So he's kind of for those that are kind of listening. So he
you see how his legs are opening. So
yeah.
I mean is that Simpson again? Number 3? I don't remember his number. Or is that might be Hammond? I can't tell.
Yeah, I think Simpson.
But either way,
too, I think
he could almost even keep driving, but the pass is there, so he just passes it because he knows De Silva in the corner is going to have a better look at.
So should Norchad have
basket?
Should he have stepped out on that more to kind of force him more towards the sideline instead of allowing him to?
Yes.
Okay.
And so then if it's me, anything one pass away right now, Wooga's one pass away. I mean, technically you could say Lampkin's one pass away, but that's right where that angle, where the double team is, you can't make that pass, right? Because he would just throw it right to Norchad. But anything one pass away, you have to take away. Because when you make one pass, everything else is open. Everything else is one pass away, right? Then that's what happens with Lampkin. He's wide open diving to the basket because of that angle that De Silva has.
And Bensley ends up having to rotate onto him.
Yeah. And I don't know who that part is on, whether it is on, maybe it calls for Bensley. He should have been there and been more aggressive, or maybe it's on Cleveland. I don't know. It depends on what they're.
Well, the issue though is because you can actually see in this clip Norchad's trying to recover back, but it's
too late because
it's too unbothered. The pass was so easy to the corner and now so easy to the post. You're never going to get back that quickly. right?
Yeah.
If Wooga, like you said, pressured it, makes it a little bit more difficult to throw that pass. If Norchad, forces more to the sideline, it takes longer to make those passes, and you can get back in position. This was just too easy again. And so that's so this ends up being a layup. And this is kind of and this is why we said earlier, a little bit going through the motions of being aggressive. We tried to trap that screen, and we didn't actually trap it. We just released it, essentially. All we did was take another defender out of the play. Because neither Nigel nor Norchad disrupted anything, but they were standing way out at like the NBA line.
Yeah.
All right, you somehow managed to find one more thing in this half. So
could have found more probably too. You can just start it from. Oh,
oops, I should.
This one. Okay. All right, this is another high ball screen, I believe.
He is super athletic at the rim.
If you want to pause it right when he goes through the ball screen, right there. Oh, sorry, but I guess this is good. This is good right here. All right, so you see the high ball screen right here. Nigel's going over the top. I mean, Colorado's a really good 3-point shooting team. So normally when that happens, you want that. Yep. I don't know. Usually when the ball's on this spot of the floor, if you're going up against a good 3-point shooting team, you want to hedge this a lot harder, meaning Wooga should have came over a lot harder to kind of contest, get in the way. The only thing is that leaves De Silva open to dive, if he wants to go to the basket. But what happens here is really confusing to me, and I don't really understand. Wooga just kind of goes away from the ball. You can see Nigel's behind the guy with the ball, right? Behind the ball handler. And it just creates an open driving lane. Because look, there's no one in the paint right here. And that's the other thing too. There's no one in immediate help side. So if you want to press play.
Yeah, I mean, Cleveland should be able to get over and help. But
38% at the line. Here's Hammond into Hadley.
But yeah.
Back out to De Silva.
Yeah, they end up with a 3, which they missed.
Wide open 3. And this is all because of one drive where the defense had to all collapse.
Yeah, now they're still got the ball.
Yeah.
It's eventually a foul. So it was everything wrong with that happened in one little clip.
And it was another instance too. Didn't box out. And
it was everything.
You weren't
there.
It
was a screen.
Is everything we talked about in this for this game was in one clip.
Yeah, if for those that aren't watching, you go the 44 seconds left in the first half, you can see the entire meltdown in just one play sequence of did not rotate correctly off of a screen, gave up a wide open shot, didn't box out, made a stupid foul. It all came together at once.
Yes. The trifecta of awesomeness. Okay.
And somehow down 1 at the half.
Yeah.
After what we
thanks to the Matthew Cleveland finish, right? And I think he made the free throw too. So
yeah, no, what we ended up doing is, and because I know this because Melissa and I were looking at the stats, we were almost at the game, and they were out rebounding us, and we were down, 6 or 7, whatever it was before we finished strong. And we somehow cut it to 1 without getting a rebound. Because we had 9 rebounds, and we still at halftime, I was like, there's still 9 rebounds. I don't know how we just went on a run, but we stole 1. They had a turnover. I mean, they traveled, and we just somehow made a little comeback without getting a single rebound, Didn't
we have like 12 turnovers in the first half too? So it wasn't.
We were underwater. We were underwater assist to turnover, I believe, too.
Oof. Oh man,
it was ugly. But yet down 1 at the half. And halftime is a good time to talk about Prize Picks.
There you go.
The presenting sponsor of 5 Reasons Sports, 6 Rings Canes, and of course Buckets is Prize Picks. So the way you play is simple. You go to prizepicks.com, you sign up for a new account, enter the offer code 5. That is FIVE, the word 5, the number 5 spelled out in letters. And once you enter the offer code 5, you sign up for a new account. Your first deposit up to $100, prizepicks.com, and 5 Reasons Sports will match that. So You put in 100, you'll get 100 match. They'll put 200 into your account. And what can you do with that? Well, you can pick 2 to 5 players and bet over under on their lines. And if you hit them all, you get paid. The more you include, the higher your payout is. So that is prizepicks.com, offer code 5. That's the word FIVE spelled out. And $100 match on your first deposit. Prizepicks.com, offer code 5 FIVE. All right, Matt, this is where it's going to get ugly. Because as I mentioned, we're still hanging in there at halftime. But
there was a lot we could have covered in the second half, but I don't want to, relive this fully and cry myself to sleep again tonight. But we're just going to get into some of them. This, honestly, I didn't realize how many I picked up and how long this is. So apologies to you, Fish.
Oh no, it's all good. I think we're learning, and hopefully the listeners. I mean, I'm appreciating. Hopefully the listeners are kind of. It's important. We cover the team. We should know these things, but it's good to kind of, when you're watching a game, you get a feel for it. And it's good to kind of look at it a little bit detached later and see, did that actually align? Like I said earlier, I've already the Monday show, and I do think the second half, especially the end of the game where I think they went out 17 to 2 run or whatever to close it and end up. I do think at that point we definitely quit, but I thought we were lackadaisical in the first half at the game on Sunday, and what we just saw was not that. It was more execution issues, and it takes effort to run to the rim on defense to try and get in position to rebound. It's not like we weren't doing that. The amount of our players you see in the paint and all of that, so that's already something that was wrong on. The effort was there. It just wasn't necessarily smart effort.
Yeah.
So I think these are good things, which is also good because I haven't seen anything that's not pretty simply correctable so far.
Yeah.
All right, so you got so we're queued up here for what I'm about to see here.
Another high ball. I think it's a high ball screen. There's a screen. I don't know if it's an on ball or if it's off ball. Let's pull it up real quick.
Let's take a look. And I believe so. We definitely want to focus on. Oh, I hadn't started sharing it. I almost hit. I was queuing this up in the background.
Got right into it.
I mean, I can see it. I don't care if anyone else can. So we definitely want to locate Matthew Cleveland is going to be integral in this play. So he's right here on the screen. And let's roll this.
I would just hit pause right now. A little bit more. Right there.
Okay, so screen is happening.
Screen is happening.
It's Bensley getting screened, I believe, right?
Yeah, it's Bensley getting screened. He's trying to fight through the screen. But you'll see, ball handler, Matt Cleveland probably could have shown a little bit more.
He didn't even really play the ball at all. He's standing behind the screener, not really even facing the ball.
You gotta, and if you're looking at that as an offensive player, you're gonna realize, hey, this is wide open. He's not looking to guard me. I'm gonna take it straight to the hole right now. But you gotta wait a little bit for Nigel or for Bensley to recover here.
So was the strategy here for him to show and then recover back, and versus the first half we were trapping and switching?
Yeah, so I think it depends which way the ball's going, because right now this is going towards the center of the court, right? So if you double team, I mean, this is going to be actually something I get into on another play. So thanks for that question here, Vish.
We do know show prep
for me. So you can play this different ways. There's different ways of playing, a ball screen like that. I would say Matt Cleveland hard hedges a little bit more, so comes out a little bit more. Kind of gets the offensive player to back up, get his momentum going backwards, right? Away from the basket. So Bensley can recover, and then he can kind of recover and go back. I think is he on? No, he's not on De Silva. Who's he on? I can't tell. Oh, it might be Hadley again.
It is.
Well,
Hadley.
see, that's the other thing. You know what Hadley's going to do, right? He's the glue guy. He's going get offensive rebounds. He's going to drive to the basket, right? He's not going to take perimeter-based shots. So it's knowing personnel, and yeah, go ahead, play it again.
In Massachusetts, a full-time
See,
starter
right
for the
there,
first time.
drive.
Simpson stop and go. Went right underneath the arm of O'Meara.
Norchad a little
and-
bit too over aggressive on that. Jumps.
Yeah, but just backing up here, I think he notices that as we roll this through again, we did kind of have a pause at the right place, but
right there.
Matthew Cleveland's in no position to defend this because his back is to it.
Look at his back is to it, and his momentum is going away from the ball, right? Like you can see all his body weight is going away from the ball. If he just shows out and hard hedges it, like I said, forces the ball handler to either pick up the ball or to dribble even further away from the basket and gives Bensley time to recover. And that's what you're looking for.
It's in Massachusetts.
Yeah,
but instead he gets. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, and he did. We didn't switch here, which we didn't trap, which we were doing in the first half. So it was. I do think the plan was for him to just delay this so Bensley could recover back, and then. Yeah, as you mentioned, knowing your personnel, Matt Cleveland's guy here, Hadley, is not a shooter, so you don't need to crowd him. But also, if you're giving up, what was it, 70% of twos?
70%. They shot 70% from 2-point range.
Yeah, at some point you're like, you know what, shoot the three. I'm gonna sag off and not give up another layup. All right, next. They're gonna come
Next
faster
one
now. Yeah.
I think this is one of those double teams. Let's see real quick.
14. 50. Up here we go. All right, so this is all right. So yeah, we're gonna.
Let's see.
This is what
is this right?
I don't know.
You
gave me 1450. Let's see what happens.
I know I might be wrong.
There's a drive for Javon Hadley. Colorado is back in front.
They might get a turnover here real quick. Let's see. Is this one of the turnovers?
Well, let's see what we got here. We can watch a little off. Whoa, boy. Oh boy, this is the yak. Oh god,
we had like
this is. Whoa.
How many of those turnovers have
By the way, this is a game. This is a game where it's 47-46 Colorado at this point. Yeah, I mean, I know this isn't on the rundown, but I don't even know what to do with this play. This is so. Let's walk through this. This is after we actually were winning. And
wait, rewind it again. Go back like another 20 seconds. Yeah, this was it.
W1.
Yeah,
okay,
go back. Yeah, sorry.
Okay,
I wrote down the wrong time. So you see right here.
All right, so we got Wooga. Wooga is covering, and then they're gonna
high ball screen.
So now Matt Cleveland. We do actually aggressively trap. He's kind of trying to force him back out to mid court.
Yeah, but you'll see here, Wooga's he's not up there on the double.
Yeah, what was he doing?
You either go up and double that, or you sag back to the wing right there. But you see, Norchad has that right there, right? So he can rotate. But it's again like if you're going to double anything one pass away, you can see down on the bottom. Number 2 is covered by Bensley, right? You can't make that pass. That's one pass away. Up top, then look now you have Lampkin being guarded by Nigel Pack, and it's one pass away.
And you have a wide open in the corner.
Yeah.
And also I think they end up scoring on a layup driving in because he's got the mismatch with Norchad and the help defense to block the shot as Nigel, so that's not gonna happen. But I think the big thing on this play was it was actually we'll look like he got caught in between two things because Cleveland does actually play this well. Aggressively forces him out that
aggressive
forces him out near half court. This is what you want to do. Wooga just stopped in no man's land and kind of didn't really pressure the ball
his hands are down too. Like
well, I think eventually he's gonna jump or do something like I mean, this is not. I mean, what are you doing with your hands up 5 feet away from someone? And this is actually it's kind of interesting because this is one that actually could have been.
That would have been a steal, 100%.
Yeah, if he pressured it, but also this is an easy one to switch because Wooga and Cleveland are actually kind of technically just both wings. Like they're almost like for like. On a normal team, they'd probably play the same position.
Yeah.
So, that was one you could have, like, Wilgett basically kind of stopped in between, was almost of two minds and didn't. I think the play was definitely to trap. That was what the defense was supposed to be. But actually, if you just switch that, this play wouldn't have worked at all either. Instead, he kind of got stuck in the middle. So we ended up not really trapping because he's giving too much space. And also,
but that's a picture perfect. Like if Wuga was actually there on the double, so it was De Silva with the ball, right?
Yeah.
He dribbled backwards. That's exactly where you want it to happen, right? Because you have the half court line and you have the sideline. He has nowhere to go. He picks up his dribble. Anywhere is a long pass, right?
Yeah, but he ends up easily making a pass because Wilga gave him space.
Exactly. Yep.
And so then they end up with a mismatch on Norchad on the wing, and
between the two sports.
Wasn't Norchad's best effort either.
Are we watching this offensive possession
Yeah,
again?
all right. We have to visibly describe it. Okay, so Nigel's got the ball. He is going to just toss it to Norchad at the top of the key in a second. Norchad fumbles it, rolls off his head. He gets it to Cleveland. Cleveland throws it. Norchad drops it, steps up. I mean, Nigel drops it and steps up. It is. I don't even. This is when during the game I could.
I mean, this is why I said our turnovers were like it's things like just catch the ball. Like
Colorado did absolutely nothing on that drive. We fumbled the ball multiple times and then ended up with a turnover. And by the way, again. This is a 1-point game. So yeah, this is not pretty. All right, let's find the next clip.
We're pretty close actually.
These commercials are what get you. All right, so 13. This is one of them, but we'll go to the pre.
Yeah, just go to the.
I think we just. All right, this
right
is close
here.
enough.
All right, so pause it. Where is he?
Colorado's got the size
We're not there yet. It's 43. So.
Floor, including right here. Lampkin against O'Meara.
Tell me
You see right here.
We'll back up.
Just falls asleep. Go again or go back.
Yep. We're gonna back up. So
Pause it right here.
All right. So right now, Lampkin's got the ball a little bit away from the elbow. Norchad's covering, and he's going to get backdoored.
Yes.
And what was he doing?
I don't know.
Because you said falls asleep, but he's watching the defender. He's watching the car. Like it's like he's not looking at him. He's looking right at him.
You can fall asleep with your eyes wide open. I mean, part of that too. I think Lampkin. That was a really good pass, right? But Matt Cleveland was not expecting that at all. And I think we talk about execution. He wasn't really. He just had his arm out. He didn't think the pass was actually going to be coming.
It was another. We used the term earlier, going through the motions. That was it. He was there, but he wasn't really there.
Shooting at 70%
it's pretty bad, and they just like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. So off of a miss, pause right here. You can see right here, Bensley is fronting to Silva, and you guessed it, another common theme of you're trying to front someone, but you have no help side, and Norchad isn't even looking at what's going on. Press play.
2 steals to go with 14 points.
Okay, so now
by the time he realizes it, it's already in the post. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing you can do about it now. Easy and one.
Maybe another assist here. Da Silva,
which is also a foul on Norchad. So just every bad thing.
Yeah.
Da Silva has a chance to augment that.
So I guess so this starts with a this
Joseph a deep one.
It starts with a mismatch.
So I'll be on. Yeah. Pause it like right as you see us right here.
Okay. So how should we have defended this?
Well, for me, it's Norchad has to get back a little sooner, right? Because he's still kind of in the process.
Yeah, he's still not in position.
Yeah, he's still not in position. To me, it's right here. Again, this is my perspective. That's Hadley in the corner being guarded by Cleveland, who Cleveland is playing him like he's one pass away, and that is one pass away, but that's a deep one pass. To me, it's Norchad should be shadowing De Silva closer, kind of in the middle between Lampkin, because you can see Lampkin's kind of, I think he ends up kind of running out to the perimeter, not the perimeter, but like moving away from inside the key. Norchad has to be a little, yeah, see?
Yeah, he does pull him out a little bit, yeah. But
Yeah.
Norchad's not really even guarding anyone.
Yeah, so he needed to be a little deeper there. And then if you see, Matthew Cleveland can easily, if Norchad's there sooner and they double De Silva, he can take away that pass. That's on him to rotate, right?
Right, which he does actually do.
Yeah, which that does happen.
But they're making the
too-
layup anyway.
Yeah.
Nothing run for Colorado. De Silva has a chance to augment that at the line.
So yeah, this is a horror show. Still only a 5-point game, by the way.
He has 6 assists.
Now 6.
The more you fast forward, the worse it gets.
Yeah.
He's on the floor.
Oh yeah, Keyshawn.
You walk around.
That down to 4.
Scores a Julian Hammond the third round.
All right, so we're getting on
Right
to-
here.
Even though he is a 6'8".
Oh, that's when Keyshawn carried.
This is
Yeah, but I didn't
carried
initiate
and
the fact
then
that he could bring the ball
well,
up.
Crazy thing is he
Yeah.
carried
He is a
before that too.
6'8" point guard.
I mean, they don't really call unless it's like a
Yeah, they don't.
which it okay. So where's the? Because it went to commercial there. So where's the clip we're looking for?
Oh, 1206.
Yeah, no, it's I got spinning thing happening here.
At halftime,
This is
he
12.
pulled up.
This
Even
is
though
the
he is a
Keyshawn.
6'8",
It's right
point
after this, right?
guard.
But I thought it went
Yeah,
to commercial.
it
Afterwards,
should
but maybe
be.
not. Oh no, we didn't. Here we
Yeah,
go.
right here.
See what he can do after.
Oh wait.
So this is gonna be
Oh yes. Okay. So you see, Cleveland's looking at the action right here, right?
yeah.
Bensley's getting screened, so you can press play and then kind of pause it, right? Look at this.
Yeah, so Bensley gets knocked
Caught
out
on
by-
the screen. Matt
I don't
Cleveland.
know that screen was legal, man.
Yeah, I mean, besides the
Look
point.
at that,
There's
look at
someone-
that screening position. That dude's pulling around like an offensive guard. What are we doing?
I know. And look, poor Bensley's flying.
Bensley
Man.
got
Hey,
cleared the F out, man.
Bensley did what he could to get through that.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know what I
that is like the defensive back seeing the left guard pulling around and like, oh crap.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I think we want to look at Cleveland here, right?
Yeah. So right here, it's again, know your personnel. Hadley hasn't made a 3 all season. You have Hammond just cutting right down. I mean, you could even say, I mean, O'Brien's one pass away. Maybe Wuga should have showed a little bit, but to me, it's Cleveland. And then even Casey, right? You're guarding a guy that isn't even facing the rim. I know it's on the screen. You see that Bensley got caught up on it. You could have showed a little bit.
Right.
But it's just not
something to disrupt it because it's just too easy.
Yeah. Like, and I mean, to me, it's like if you're Matthew Cleveland, you just let someone cut right in front of you to the basket. That should never happen.
And he's literally just inches from him at this point. He just didn't bother to play defense. Like it's
press play again.
De Silva finds a cutter, a terrific feed.
Doesn't even contest the shot too.
Right, and I mean that's kind of the point here, right? Because he's in position to make a play on this. He can step in front of it. I mean, they almost accidentally run into him. He's that close to the play and just watches it happen.
Finds a cutter, a terrific feed.
That's a rough
De
one.
Silva for Hammond. And Tristan De Silva's career best.
All right, we got a few more of these to go through, man.
We have 4 more. The last few ones are pretty quick though.
His first basket after
Back up twice. We should land
perfectly.
your reserve Luke O'Brien.
Okay, see right here.
Okay, so I think I want to back up.
Yeah, like a smidge.
We missed the.
But you'll
double.
see right at the top of the half circle there, there's gonna be a double team.
Is there?
Be a mismatch.
Oh, what happened?
Great job by
It
Bryant
got
there,
hung up.
sliding his feet, getting in front of Luka Poplar, and denying him
Here we go.
opportunity at the rim. With your reserve Luke O'Brien.
Okay, so he did a handoff.
So Bensley has to get through like 2 screens already, right? Well, I mean the handoff, but I count that as
I would say in relation to the previous play we looked at, he did not put the same effort into running off of this one.
Yeah. But you'll see here.
So it's Simpson with the ball at the top of the
Simpson-
key inside the arc.
Simpson has the ball. Norchad's on him. Bensley's going to come and double team. Simpson does do a good job before it's even set. I think Bensley's a little late there, but before it's set, he gets rid of the ball. And look, I mean, this is why you don't double team in the middle of the floor like this, because there's so many options that are one pass away, right? You can pass to the right. He could have passed to Lampkin because Bensley wasn't there yet. And then you have De Silva just wide open right there for three.
And that's often at making. And we'll go with a late closeout.
Set up by Simpson. De Silva's got his first three and the largest lead for Colorado.
And then
Cleveland. De Silva gets back to deny him, and then
I think that was like our last.
Good for Matt Cleveland. But let's get into the next two that actually are about Matt Cleveland.
All right, so here we are. Okay, so let me pause. So this is about to happen. All right, so Cleveland is on O'Brien.
Yes, you'll see him right here. Look, wait, pause it. He's completely ball watching right there.
Yeah, no, he still doesn't know O'Brien is cut to the basket and is wide open.
Yeah, wide open.
Yeah, so Matt Cleveland, and there's a good 8 feet between him and the person he's supposed to be defending at this point, who's wide open over the basket.
Luckily, he sees it too late.
Well, Keyshawn stole the ball.
Keyshawn steals it, but
that's the previous. Yeah, so this is another kind of. Yeah, this is kind of another just not really focused.
Defensive end by O'Brien gets the shot blocked, then comes up with the rebound.
To wait for the clock to come back up.
Oh yeah.
For Miami on that possession.
Oh, that's where Norchad picked up that foul.
And the nice kick ahead.
Oh right, this is what I was talking about.
Right there.
What are you doing?
For Hadley to be able to finish without even looking at the basket.
Right,
I
so
think
we
he
got
was
a
more
little
concerned
bit
about
more,
the fall. Convert the three-point play.
All right.
Is it shorter on that side of the court? I don't believe so. This keeps happening.
This is gonna be another backdoor, right?
Yeah. Well, and look, we stepped out on the sideline again. This is like the 5th time. Yeah. All right here.
So it's coming out.
Cleveland. Watch Cleveland right here. So keep in mind, he just got backdoored like a minute ago?
Yep.
You would think he would kind of be on alert to that. Look, he's ball watching, and backdoor.
And this time they made the pass. They missed it last time. This time they made it layup.
Yeah.
And he's nowhere near the play.
This is again. We talked about it before. Is it engage or is it execution or is it scheme? I think it's mainly a lot of execution, right? I think that. I mean, obviously, we've gone over a lot of plays, and this might seem very negative, but to me, almost all of these things are fixable, right?
Well,
it's just a matter of
let's watch this last one, and then we'll get your overall assessment. Just need that damn backup 10 seconds to work one time. That wouldn't do it for me.
I know. It doesn't want to work. This is again, you got to close out on shooters. Oh my god.
We missed it.
Yeah, we missed it.
Come on. All right, let's let it roll.
Yeah, just go from here.
De Silva looking for another assist.
Got lucky on that.
Got it. Oh, okay. So they fumble the ball over the place. We just left someone wide open.
Yeah. I mean, if got to close out.
Yeah.
He's already made 2 in like a few minutes span. Got to get out there. But yeah.
And that was the
that was all
the last one. That was it.
I know. So I mean, I kind of spoke on this.
It's been a journey.
It's been quite a journey.
Yeah. So what is your then overall? So we've looked at a lot of plays. There's definitely some themes running through this, but what is your overall takeaway from what after rewatching the game? Well, I guess let me start with this. Do you feel better or worse about the performance after?
I mean, I guess better than how I originally felt, right? Because I do think that a lot of these things, if not all of them, are. I'm sure Coach L's, looking at film with his guys. or our guy DJ too. Because a lot of these are, preventable things. Like you're in the right spot, but put a body on someone, box out. How I didn't even put it on because I felt like there was no point of covering the last like 4 minutes of.
I mean, we quit. We quit.
Yeah,
I mean,
we were
nothing else,
the doubling. Like you thought the execution wasn't there for the doubling. It was even worse. You were just kind of standing there, trying to double team, but it wasn't really a double team, and that's why they, exploded to a 27-point win. So
27 or 9.
27 actually. Yeah.
Okay.
But to me, like almost all of these things are fixable. I think it's a mix of like the communication things. It's team chemistry, right? Like Matthew Cleveland's a new piece. I think that also too, like, you miss a lot of what Jordan Miller, would do for us defensively, and even Isaiah Wong too.
Well, yeah, I mean, we saw examples of Bensley or Nigel being the weak side rotation. If that's Zay, that's just a bigger, stronger player that can be more disruptive.
Yeah, which like Bensley, I mean, it's like like how tall is Bensley? Like probably like 2 inches shorter than Wuga or than Zay.
Yeah, no, I mean they're both. There's what they're listed at, but
I mean Isaiah Wong has like a 6'7", 6'8" wingspan too, which makes a difference.
Yeah, Bensley listed at 6'2". There's just no way.
Yeah, so I just think a lot of this
6 foot, so they're both about the same height from what.
Yeah, I think a lot of this is like, can we make adjustments? Can we learn as a team and grow? If we do, I mean, we have a lot of potential to be a really good team.
So let's talk there a little bit then. Like, what adjustments would you make? Based off of what we saw here, would it be
adjustments in that like players have to do things, not in the aspect of coaching changes? I think
you said kind of looking through, rewatching the game, kind of breaking it down. Determination on your end, is this more execution versus conceptual scheming or anything like that, where you would need to change the way we play?
Yeah, I think it is more so the execution. But I think it's, you got to practice getting some of those, physical boxing out drills, like scramble, like you have to pick someone up and just box them out, get a body. But yeah, I mean, it's just, it sounds like coach speak almost, but you got to just do your job. Like, you know what I mean? I think it's as simple as that.
So are there any adjustment, any change? Like, so I would say the one, I think based on what we saw, a lot of it was, ball watching instead of, your man.
Yeah.
Definitely the box outs were pretty chronically,
I guess I would say
running
too,
into position and not getting a body on someone.
Yeah. Well, and I'm hesitant to say a certain thing because I don't know, like, usually like you have certain rules of if the ball is on in this place of the floor and there's a ball screen, the guy getting screened does this or does, you know what I mean? You play it this certain way. Right. And so in my mind is based on what we saw, it was more of like guys not doing what they're supposed to do. Right. So with that being said, I think again, it's execution. It's execution. It's execution. But
yeah. So the one thing I do want to ask is are there things we need to mix up in terms of just, like, we are even more undersized than last year.
Yeah.
Is there anything we need to be, because like you said, a lot of this, frankly, Jordan Miller wasn't just the size, it was the brain, right? But a lot of this probably doesn't happen if he's there.
Yeah.
He's not coming back, neither is Zay. So
to be
dealing
honest,
dealing with the tools we have.
I would be interested in seeing a we talked about, I mean, coaches said that AJ Casey is kind of Matt Cleveland's sub, right? I would like to see maybe Chris Watson in that role, more so get some of those minutes to see what it would look like, because I think he's obviously there's that miscommunication we went through.
Right.
We don't know, who that was mainly on, but I think for the most part, he is always kind of in the right position. And also, I want to post. Can you post Kyle's comment right here? I think that I would like to see a lot more Keyshawn George because watching the film and just on defense, he was in the right position a lot of the time. You didn't see him really making some of those freshman mistakes, so to speak. And what you get with him offensively too. I think he's always had confidence, like we've said, but he's starting to get comfortable and kind of learn where to look for his shot.
Yeah, and I think especially in that last game where we saw a lot of hesitating, and obviously he doesn't do that. He's got one speed, and it's full throttle. So he was, and this paid off in the first half, especially where we were so sloppy with the ball. Him getting shot attempts was good because there were so many empty possessions with stupid turnovers that, having someone just, I'm going to shoot when I'm open, which is what we're supposed to be doing. I don't really understand what the, little deer in headlights from us there. Like, our whole offense is predicated on first open shot, you shoot it. And so
and the other thing too, in terms of playmaking, like he is a good playmaker.
Yeah.
You have two smaller guards. Keyshawn is able to make some of these passes that a smaller guard can't really make. Like he had that alley-oop over, he was being guarded and he threw it up to Norchad and stuff. So, he's able to make these plays because of his versatility and size. But sorry, go ahead.
So no, I was just going to say, so Kyle's saying to start him.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I don't know if it's necessarily like, I think you give him more minutes, right? And I think that's how it starts. I think you kind of stagger the minutes between him, Nigel, and Bensley, and you try to get Bensley and Nigel like kind of on the floor at separate times, right? And get like there's two of them on the floor at all times type of thing. So Keyshawn does get more minutes. And then if you look at the advanced stats, you look at how the team is playing, the efficiency stats, and there's a noticeable eye test like difference, then you make that move, right?
Yeah, I think, but that, if we say that move, we're basically saying, you start him instead of Bensley, right? That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like, that's really the only option if you're going to mix it up. I will say we are talking about this in a game in which he was benched because he got yanked out of the game for Chris Watson, and really then only came back in when we emptied the bench in the last couple of minutes. It was and frankly the game got, in favor of the idea of extending his minutes and potentially starting him, as the game got much worse when he came out there. Same thing happened against Kentucky, by the way, but it clearly Coach L, and there were a couple of turnovers. We inadvertently watched one of them on the while we were looking for those.
It's easy to find when you have like 20 of them in a game. It's kind of easy.
Yeah, no, but I was talking about Keyshawn specifically with the carry. There's no, because he did get benched actually after making a steal, and so so clearly Coach L thought there was something. It might be as simple as just those turnovers, but he thought it was necessary to basically pull him out of the game. Yeah. So I don't know if that's a good harbinger of, he's going to be starting against LaSalle.
Yeah.
Generally, You don't get
I would
benched and
definitely, yeah, I definitely think that he should be playing more minutes. 100% agree with that.
Okay, and then let's try to avoid talking about the same thing on every single show, but the backup bigs. What do you do? I know you mentioned potentially Watson coming in as Cleveland's backup.
Yeah.
So AJ Casey, that just basically will limit AJ Casey's minutes essentially. But
Yeah.
someone, he or Nwoko, does need to come in at some point, and I haven't been pleased with either of them.
Yeah, I haven't either. I would say that I would lean Nwoko, just because of the defensive potential. I think that he can have an impact. I'm not saying he's making a huge impact right now, but I think that he has the potential to make more of an impact on the defensive side of the floor. But I think you have to put him in game. You have to put him into games to get him that experience, right? So I think these next few games, right before ACC play like really gets going, are going to be really telling of how we're going to see the lineup moving forward.
So I guess the other thing would be, Nwoko is a true freshman, so maybe there's more potential for some in-season improvement as he gets more minutes. I expected AJ Case to be a lot better than he's shown so far, at least. After a year in the off season, and had a good trip and played well in that overseas trip they took to France, and actually started the year off looked like he was playing pretty well, and it's just
I don't know if it's maybe a confidence thing with him, if he's just unsure of himself, but I mean,
it's not happening is basically.
Yeah. I mean, you would think it this far along. How many games are we in now? Like almost 10?
Are we more than that? Hold on.
7. We're 7-2, right?
I believe so. Let me get that open. We are 7-2. That's correct.
Yeah. You would like to see, a little bit more from him, right? I believe he was the highest rated recruit of that recruiting class too. I want to say.
Yeah, no, and he's got talent. It's one of those. It just hasn't clicked yet. I think that's where that's because quite frankly, if I could play neither of them, that would be the option. But it's not really an option right now, and that's why to expect more from Casey at this point based on time and program and ability and what he's supposed to be coming in. So I'd say there's less of an opportunity for all of them that switch to go on for someone in that position in the middle of the year versus a true freshman who's kind of experiencing all this for the first time. I mean, AJ Casey's played in a Final Four game. He should not be overwhelmed playing, Colorado or frankly some of these teams we've been blowing out. He's been physically a little bit hesitant, like you said. I don't know if it's confidence or whatever, but
yeah, that's what it appears to me. Like offensively, he looks kind of unsure of himself. This was a guy. We've talked about it like many times. Coming out of high school, he was like one of the best finishers at the rim.
Yeah, and I think he was supposed to be an off. He still is, I guess, because he's not still here, and there's still time, but. He was supposed to be an offensive player, and we're just not seeing any of that.
Yeah,
that was the skill coming in.
Yeah, I think part of it too is like an uncertainty of like his identity of is he like a post player? Is he more of a wing? Like how is he going to score? Is he going to put the ball on the floor? Does he have to get in the low post? There's that uncertainty and whatnot.
Yeah, and it hasn't helped. Like he's most definitely not a center, and he's been having to play that most of his career here, so that's not great.
Yeah,
but one of those two needs to kind of elevate into the survivability range.
Yeah,
because right now they're not there. And there's time, but that needs to happen over these next few games as well.
So, I mean, looking forward to these like next few games. When's our next game? Saturday morning.
Morning for you.
For me.
It's LaSalle at noon. It's actually morning for me too because I would be in San Antonio. So
there you go.
It's LaSalle at noon, at home.
Yeah.
And then for the women, which is where I'll be, Baylor and San Antonio at 5 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, which by the way, we got to shout out those jerseys for the women, man. Those are straight fire.
They are indeed. And then after that, the men host Stonehill on Thursday, the 21st, which Melissa and I will actually be at.
Yeah.
And then they're off for break. And the women have one more game Wednesday, the 20th against Jackson State, and then they're off for break. So everything else is after Christmas.
Yeah,
but I mean, so this LaSalle game they're a decent opponent. So
they're decent mid-range or mid-major team. Sorry, mid-major is what I meant to say. Mid-major team, probably the tougher out of the next 3 games. Because we have
the other ones. Yeah, it's LaSalle, Stonehill, North Florida.
Yeah, North Florida, definitely and the tougher of games. So. I think looking forward to those 3 games is, does Keyshawn really separate himself? We're assuming, he's going to still come off the bench, unless something crazy happens. Does he really separate himself as the guy coming off the bench, in this 3-game span? And then I think, what do you get from Nwoko and Casey, who are probably going to be coming in for, I know Coach said Casey is Cleveland's replacement, but or sub. But what do you get from these 2 guys when Norchad is out?
Because it's kind of interesting. He says that, but then there's at least I haven't seen any kind of consistency in his substitution patterns.
No, yeah, I was looking at.
I would love if he actually kind of at least gave them defined roles, and no one's really performing well enough to get that, but
I think that's
it does feel a little bit like, let's try this, and if it works right, and if not, then go to the next guy. And he could say Casey is Cleveland's backup. He has not subbed him in that way.
Yeah,
he's subbed him in all over the place. He's played him at center. Yeah. He's played him with Norchad as well, which is when I guess he's Cleveland's replacement. But there's been a lot more times he's been on the court without.
Well, he's definitely played. He's definitely played next to Cleveland as well, as the.
That's true. Man. Yeah. No, he's. I would say he's. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but from memory, he's played a lot more center than power forward.
Yeah, I'm looking at the lineups and some of the advanced rankings, and it tells you the most used lineups, and most of them are him at the 4.
Oh, really? Okay.
But there's 2 of them with him at the 5, and I don't know why, but it lists Keyshawn at the 4 and then Matt Cleveland at the 3, but maybe because of height. But
yeah, probably.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so looking forward to these 3 games. Would you have anything to add of what you're looking for? Or?
I think we can't, after that's Clemson, it's ACC play. We got to figure out our rotations. And I don't know what the right answer is because, frankly, very little of the bench has worked.
Mm-hmm.
But, I think defining roles over the next 3 games so that in the ACC they can be a little bit more as much as we make fun of Anthony Walker and all that. You knew what his role was. You knew he was going to come in for a handful of minutes in the first half, unless there was foul trouble, right? And you kind of knew he's going to come in. He's going to take Norchad's minutes while Jordan Miller plays center, and then he's going to stay out there when they rotate Norchad back in and Jordan Miller. And you kind of knew what his role was, and it does not feel like any of the backups. It's always oh, look who's first off the bench this time. And part of that is no one's really established themselves, but we've got to figure some kind of consistency out because it's really hard to contribute when there's no set rotations. And
Yeah.
I think Coach I would prefer to just play the starting five the entire game. That's not.
So do you think maybe these 3 games we do see more of a?
I'd like to. That's what I'd like to see. I'd like to. I don't know what the right answer is in terms of this guy should. I think pretty much everyone's in agreement. I'd like to see Keyshawn, have a defined role with substantial minutes, but
yeah.
how that happens, how that lays out, I don't know. And I mean, frankly, no one else is really. I guess Chris Watson a little bit, in some of these games has shown something. The rest of them, nothing really there, man. So, but they still need to get minutes. So I think at some point you just got to establish something. And I don't know how to do that when no one's really performing, but especially at the bigs that we just talked about. But I'm hoping by like the end of the stretch, by the end of the North Florida game, that they kind of have a little bit better idea of, okay, this is my role. I kind of know when I'm going to play, because that also leads. You mentioned AJ Casey lacking confidence and not being comfortable. That's part of it too. It's playing a different role every time he's on the court in a different situation. So I'm hoping we get some kind of rotation established here.
Yep.
I also will say I think you're seeing why. This was way back in the summer press conference where Coach L talked about, when they talked about all the players transferring out, he called out Harlan Beverly as one that had the option of coming back. I don't think all of them necessarily did, and you can kind of see his defensive intelligence and some of like the stability he has is, it's not Zay or Jordan Miller, but that's also being missed. And the second unit, someone that's kind of just responsible.
Yeah.
Because we're laughing a little bit about, Keyshawn carrying the ball, but it was bad. There was bad turnovers and all that stuff, and
stepping on the sideline 7 times.
Multiple times. So, someone else needs to kind of step up into Beverly's role as well too. Just, okay, we can bring this guy off the bench. He'll be consistent. He won't do anything stupid. He'll make plays that are there to be made, and that's probably Keyshawn. Although he's way more aggressive, so maybe it's more Chris Watson's MO to do that. But we need something. The bench is, to me, the biggest concern right now. Just like we're not getting enough out of it.
Yeah, no, it's true.
We are 7-2 though, and undefeated in the ACC. So
yeah,
big W over Notre Dame. So
huge.
Yep, and then obviously the next conference game will be Clemson, and then we get some road. At Wake Forest, maybe
that's going to be well. And so, when you talk about, just who we've played so far, with getting, I don't want to dominated, I guess, by Kentucky, and then the Colorado game happens. It doesn't really look good, against these really, probably tournament teams. I don't want to say anything too early because it's only 9 games in, but these teams that are projected to be really good, you have really bad showings. The Clemson game to me is, we have 2 of them, but those are going to be big games for us.
Yeah, no, and especially because again, Notre Dame, that was kind of the easiest game we're going to have at home. So, you gotta, and good, we won that. You gotta capture these home wins because the men's schedule is home heavy to start with. So,
yeah. Do we play Louisville at home?
We do. No, this is our first 4 conference games are Notre Dame, which we obviously won. Clemson, who's good, but it's at home.
Yeah.
At Wake Forest, and then Louisville at home.
Oh, Louisville at home. Okay.
Yeah, those are 3. Like those, you got to go 4-0.
Yeah.
Oh, we play Notre Dame again.
Towards the end of the season?
And actually, no.
Oh, right in the middle.
In January.
Yeah. So,
yeah, we get them twice. Yeah, but if you look at
the other thing too is like, the ACC schools, I mean, pretty competitive. And then, like, I mean, Georgia Tech is probably one of the, I mean, outside of Notre Dame and Louisville, but like, they've shown that, you know, they can stack up. They beat Duke, so
yeah, and that's
again,
why
I think
you gotta win that, and it's hard to win on the road in the ACC, and that's why Clemson's a good team. You got to win that game out because you got to go play at Clemson later, and that's gonna be much more difficult. So
yep,
I mean, this
absolutely.
is protecting the home court, and then I mean, it's always been win your home games 500 on the road, you're in really good shape in the ACC. Now this ACC is a little bit weaker, so maybe a little bit more than 500 on the road, but I think it's still overall you shouldn't lose a home game this year.
Yeah,
and that includes Duke, who sucks.
Oh man. Well, man, are we gonna do
It's been a journey.
It has been. Maybe actually I can't do a post game show on Saturday. Well, we'll figure it out.
Well, I can't either. I'm in San Antonio, so.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So I just realized that I guess I'm going to be sitting in my hotel room watching a men's basketball game before going over to the women's game. Is until 5, so there's plenty of time after. But that's what I will be doing. I'll be doing in the middle of the day.
Awesome.
So watch this team play. Yeah.
So we ready for it, man?
Ready for what?
Wrap this one, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It.
Yeah, for it. Come on, you should know.
I should know, but she's not here, so we got to deputize.
Well, Vish, it was a good episode. We got through it together. It was a journey. Not a journey I want to take again, so hopefully we don't have to. I mean, we'll do something like this again, but I mean, hopefully it's not like this. But with that being said, let's cue the sausage outro. Jeez, I can't speak.
Wow, yeah, I think I have to do it again. I'm just gonna show you.
You do it.
By the way, if you do this on my screen, I think I get confetti. There we go.
There you go. You do it. I butchered it, so she's already gonna.
All right. Well, I'll do the confetti, and when the confetti comes down, do the socks outro.
Don't cry. Keep it chill. Wear good socks.